Ladies and gents, welcome to CG Reaction. We are doing World War One 1917 by the channel Epic History TV. We did the last parts and we saw how Archduke of Austria got shot, Austria retaliated, Germany backed them up, Russia and France got in, and also Britain got in because Belgium was threatened. So all this country came to blows. In the French border, they dig out the massive 400 or so mile long trench. That's just ridiculous in scale when I think about it. That long of a trench, but damn, they did that. One of the most horrible trench warfare of all time. They fought there. So weirdly, America nearly came to the blows but didn't. They cooled off. That's good to hear. Otherwise, it would have been a massively different case. Another giant country got in, but they didn't, so that's good. So they fought off. Obviously, this is in World War One, so 1917. So around this time, the most African and Asian countries were European colonies. So basically, European war became the World War because wars broke out in Africa and Asia and everywhere. So that was something weird. Trench warfare is just horrible, man. The Battle of the Somme, I did the video, check the cards if you want to see the reaction. It was just too horrible, man. Obviously people lost their lives in a large number, but number is not the only issue. The way they died, they basically just walked up in there and got slaughtered. That was just too horrible. That's really horrible. To ease the pressure at Verdun, Britain had to recruit lots of their civilian to fight in the war, and basically they came there in masses at the Battle of Somme. Basically most of them just walked up there and got slaughtered by the machine guns. It was just ridiculous to think about it. You hear that there's a massive war going on, your country is threatened by Germany, Austria and everybody, so you just take up arm. You're a plumber, you are some other like a shop owner or something like that, and you just take some arm to defend your country. You go there thinking you'll make a difference. Basically you just walk up in there, you got slaughtered. You basically went there to get killed. How effed up is that, man? Trench warfare was seriously horrendous. It's better that trench warfare nowadays is very rare, and if it happens it's more control. It's not at this scale. World War One's trenches were really horrible. So the war broke out everywhere. USA tried to broker peace. That is weird to say, isn't it? Yeah, usually nowadays the mentality goes, it could be the wrong mentality, could be but still there's a mentality go, US basically goes to war. That's their persona. But in World War One, everybody was going to war while USA is like, dude, chill out. That's weird to see. So yeah, this is it was just horrible war with millions and millions of died. Armenian genocide happened. They denied it. Even today they're denying it. That's just let's just watch the video.
In 1916, World War I became a war of attrition. Both sides began to focus less on winning victory on the battlefield than grinding down the enemy and inflicting such enormous losses they would be forced to surrender. In 1917, the strategy will push Europe's major powers to the brink of collapse. Germany knows it will lose a long war of attrition against the Allies, who have greater resources. So its leaders gamble. They resume unrestricted submarine warfare, believing their U-boats can cut off Britain's
War of attrition, I think that just basically means just killing off most of their army. So their army gets thin and they get defeated on the trenches. That's why they attacked Verdun, I think.
food imports by sea, and starve the country into surrender within 6 months. But the new shoot-on-sight tactics mean neutral American ships will inevitably be caught in the crossfire, risking America joining the war on the Allied side. Just 2 days into the campaign, the SS Housatonic, an American steamer carrying wheat from Galveston, Texas to England, is sunk by a U-boat. The British then passed to the US government a telegram they've intercepted from German Foreign Secretary.
British must be like, oh, thank you, God, and just fastly just written a letter. See, USA, see that? Germany killed your boat again. They don't respect you.
Arthur Zimmermann to the German ambassador in Mexico. Germany is encouraging Mexico to attack America if America and Germany end up at war. The so-called Zimmermann telegram puts yet more pressure on US.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is not 1800. This is 1917. USA is already way powerful by now. Alright? How is Mexico going to fight USA? How is that even going to work? Is Germany even thinking things anymore?
President Wilson to declare war on Germany. In Russia, enormous casualties and bread shortages lead to riots and revolution. The Tsar abdicates. A provisional government takes charge.
The idiot, if he didn't went there to take charge of his army, just stayed there in his own country and tried to cool things down, maybe revolution wouldn't have happened that fast. Soviet maybe wouldn't have taken over. At least not another time of World War I.
Pledging to continue the war. But at the front, Russian troops begin to desert en masse.
That's what you need.
After a string of German provocations, the US finally declares war on Germany. It brings immense resources to the Allied cause, but they will take many months to mobilize. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure US wasn't inside the war of World War I. So maybe they declared it, but they never, war probably got over before they could join in, I'm pretty sure.
The German gamble of unrestricted submarine warfare may still pay off. April is the U-boats' most successful month of the war. They sink 886,000 tons of Allied shipping, an average of 17 ships a day, all packed with urgently needed food and supplies. Britain will face starvation if the U-boats are not defeated soon. On the Western Front, the British launched the Battle of Arras, a diversion to support a major upcoming French offensive. After heavy fighting, Canadian troops seized the high ground of Vimy Ridge. It's a limited Allied victory, but costs 150,000 Allied casualties to 130,000 German. Above the trenches, the First Air War has reached new levels of sophistication and deadliness. Reconnaissance aircraft are crucial for spotting enemy positions and directing artillery fire onto them. Scout aircraft or fighters try to shoot them down before they can execute their mission. New models of aircraft are developed every few months, but that spring, the superiority of German aircraft leads to heavy Allied losses in what becomes known as Bloody April.
When you haven't won a Stanley Cup for 40 years, I don't care how much talent you may or may not have.
That's what you want, isn't it? Everybody fighting on the ground, trench warfare is happening, gas attacks are happening, there are bomb blasted artillery fire, and now you have to see in the sky too, because like birds there could be two planes fighting each other in a dogfight. Planes falling out of the sky. This is a ridiculous time, man. People, we see these videos, we hear history, but we can't really grasp of it. How would it feel to be around that time? It's just ridiculous, and the level of fear, man. Because it doesn't matter what kind of war happens today, you always have this sense of security, like, yeah, there's a war between one or two countries or two, three countries, sure, it will calm down, something will happen. When everybody's fighting, you feel like the world is coming to an end. This is ridiculous. This is First World War. This is first time it's happening.
After the fall of Vimy Ridge, French General Robert Nivelle launches his main offensive. Expectations are high. But after initial success, the advance bogs down and casualties quickly mount on both sides. The apparently senseless losses cause morale in the French army to collapse. Whole units mutiny, refusing to attack. General Nivelle is sacked as French commander-in-chief and replaced by General Pétain, hero of Verdun, who promises no more suicidal attacks. That summer, at Messines Ridge,
The photo themselves tells you who to trust, who to don't. Because the last guy was too smug in the photo. This guy is too serious and looks veteran. Just seeing the photo like, yeah, they're that guy. We want to support that guy.
the British tunnel under the German lines and detonate 19 enormous mines under the enemy position.
19, damn.
It's the largest man-made explosion in history to date, and paves the way to a brilliant but highly local British victory.
Did you just say largest man-made explosion? Nuclear explosion man-made? So, to the date means doesn't mean today. To the date means to this day. Okay, I'm stupid. I thought when he said to the date, I meant he talking about 2020. No, to the date means to the date of this video timeline, 1917.
In Greece, King Constantine, who has favoured neutrality, is forced to abdicate, and Greece joins the Allies.
Greece joined the Allies, oh no.
The government orders a new attack, but the July offensive is a disaster. The morale and discipline of the Russian army has collapsed. It can no longer be relied on to fight, and the Central Powers' counterattack is almost unopposed. At sea, the Allies begin to group their merchant ships into convoys, which sail under naval escort. The new system leads to a steady fall in losses. The tide is turning in the U-boat war.
So before USA declared war, they didn't thought of that. To make the convoy and give the escort. They thought of that after US joined the war. That's I smell something fishy there.
As discontent with the war grows in Germany, the German parliament, the Reichstag, passes a peace resolution, calling for a peace of understanding and reconciliation.
Now? Really,
It's
after all this?
ignored by the German High Command, which now effectively rules the country as a military dictatorship. In Belgium, the British launched their major offensive of 1917, the Third Battle of Ypres. It will be remembered as Passchendaele. Heavy shelling, rain and broken irrigation channels turned the battlefield into a sea of mud.
God,
In
look at
these
that.
impossible conditions, all hopes of a breakthrough soon fade. The attack is called off after 3 months, by which point the British have suffered 240,000 casualties, the Germans 200,000. On the Italian front, at the 11th Battle of the Isonzo, Italian and Austro-Hungarian forces batter each other into exhaustion. There are 150,000 Italian casualties, 100,000 Austro-Hungarian. That year, 1917, the list of Allied nations grows. Brazil, Liberia, China, and Siam all declare war on Germany as a result of German U-boat attacks, or to curry.
That is way too many people in Allied forces, man. There is no way in hell Germany can win now, especially not to forget. US, China wasn't that big around that time, but still, come on, man. Numbers matter. USA, now Brazil, and China, look at the numbers.
Favour with the Allies. China will contribute many thousands of labourers working for the Allies in Europe, the Middle East and Asia. That year in the Middle East, British forces avenged their 1916 humiliation at Kut by defeating the Ottoman Turks and marching on to occupy Baghdad. British forces in Egypt advance across the Sinai Desert, but are thrown back by Ottoman forces at the First and Second Battles of Gaza. In July, Arab rebels capture the strategic Ottoman port of Aqaba. They are accompanied by a British military advisor, Captain T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia. That autumn, British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour issues the Balfour Declaration, expressing support for the creation of a national home for the Jews in Palestine. The aim is to rally Jewish support for the Allies, but the declaration contradicts existing pledges to Arab leaders. In October, the British finally win at Gaza, clearing the way for an advance into Palestine. 6 weeks later, General Allenby leads British troops into Jerusalem, ending 400 years of Ottoman rule.
I'm surprised that they took 400 years to take that place, because apparently that's the place of birth of Jesus, isn't it? That's the Christianity right there, which is mostly English-speaking countries are Christian. So they gave Muslim country the power over that and didn't try to attack them over and over again just to take control of that. That is weird.
With Russian forces in disarray, Germany is able to move troops from the east to the Italian front. At the Battle of Caporetto, they helped to smash through the Italian army.
Oh yeah,
advancing 7
Russian Revolution, because of that lots of Russian defected and this army fell weaker now because of Russian Revolution. So now they can focus all their manpower in this side. So now the trench warfare pressure is even going to get increased in this place.
20 miles and taking 250,000 prisoners. British and French divisions, desperately needed on the Western Front, have to be redeployed to shore up the line. In Russia, a second revolution brings Lenin's Bolshevik party to power. He is determined to end Russia's involvement in the war. In France, Georges Clemenceau becomes Prime Minister. Nicknamed the Tiger,
is Russia going to stop in the war like that? We are not with allies or anyone. They're just going to walk away? Damn, that would be heavy blow.
promises total war and total victory. But for the Allies in late 1917, final victory looks uncertain. Russia has stopped fighting. French armies are recovering from mutiny. The Italian front has almost collapsed. And American reinforcements still seem a long way off. For the time being, the British are the only effective Allied force in the field. So the British attack at Cambrai with the first major tank assault in history. On the first day, nearly 400 tanks spearhead an advance of several miles through German defences.
400, damn!
But then the tanks break down or are knocked out. The Germans rush in reinforcements, and the gains are lost.
British with the great technology but always fell through that shoddy reliability of it. British will be like, yeah, see the technology, and then they all broke down, and British will be like, ah, you son of a...
Finland declares independence from Russia. Romania, isolated by the Russian collapse, signs an armistice with the Central Powers. 6 days later, Russia also signs an armistice. The Allied Eastern Front is no more.
Damn.
1917 has seen one major Allied power, Russia, knocked out of the war. But the arrival of a fresh new ally, America. Germany knows only military victory can now save it from being overwhelmed by Allied resources, and begins planning...
Yeah, who told you to go all the way then, huh? One after another. Germany just like, I'm gonna fight you, I'm gonna fight you, I'm gonna fight you. One guy got shot. They should have chosen, some other way to resolve things rather than just go all out war. They just directly attacked France thinking they're gonna join in anyway. Man, chill out, man.
One last massive onslaught for the spring of 1918. Epic History TV relies on the support of fellow history lovers. So if you like what we do, please consider pledging anything.
Yeah, go to Patreon and support Epic History, man. It's a really great channel. We all know what's gonna happen in 1918. Germany is gonna lose, obviously. Then they're gonna give strange feelings to Hitler. So Hitler's going to rise up, and we all know what's gonna happen in World War II. So basically, one guy got shot, and they created two wars. Effects of it. Talking about butterfly effects, damn. Alright, if you like my reaction, please don't forget to like and subscribe.